2NURFM.com, a broadcast service of the University of Newcastle.
And at 10 to 11, it's time to talk to Adam Lloyd this morning. He's joined us in place of Claire Collins, and we're looking at health generally, and dietetics and nutrition is all part of that. And it's all to do with the Healthy Dads, Healthy Kids program. And Adam, we think of relationships between mothers and children being really strong, but we don't necessarily think about fathers having quite as much to do with their children. Is that a good idea?
Well, that's an actually very good point you make there, and that's one of the reasons I was able to do the research that I've done. So typically within the research world, mothers have been a focus of what we're looking at, and we assume that, fathers, they live in the same household, it's probably the same thing that they do. And that's been a big part of what I've been looking at as part of Healthy Dads, Healthy Kids. What do fathers do that are different or possibly the same as what mothers do, and what influence does that have on kids, both diet and also physical activity and also sedentary behaviour? So
the Healthy Dads, Healthy Kids program was a very good vehicle, really, a very good way for you to look at some of these things.
Definitely, because fathers are typically hard to recruit into research activities for a number of reasons, because maybe they think, I'm too busy with work, or no, my wife might go and do that. So actually, step one was recruiting fathers, and then once I had this cohort of fathers, I could really look and dig down to what are the things that they do that are really important to the kids and also benefit the household in general.
So is that as part of their free time, as part of leisure time, spending that together?
A bit of everything there. So typically the fathers that I was looking at were in the Upper Hunter Valley, where there was a significant amount of fathers doing shift work and also fathers working pretty long hours or having to travel. So it was about capitalising on the time that they do have with their kids. So ensuring that when they're at home with their kids, it's real quality time. And one avenue or one vehicle we had for that was using physical activity as the medium, and also food. So preparing food, purchasing food, growing food, all those sort of things. So getting kids, but also dads involved in that.
That sounds really interesting. So did you find a whole pile of dads and kids were, in fact, growing a lot more in their gardens and eating fresh?
Not specifically. I've got a lot of anecdotal evidence that sort of says, well, since doing the program, yes, well, now we're doing this as a family, and we never used to do that. Dad used to come home and sit down and watch TV, but now we're like jumping on the trampoline together, and we go out and we mow the lawn. And so I guess it's dads are realising that they can really engage through their kids through using physical activity as a medium to do that.
What's the response been from the people that you were talking to and looking at?
Well, it's been really overwhelmingly positive, and particularly from mothers as well. Mothers have found, we did a number of focus groups and also one-on-one interviews with mothers and fathers and kids as part of the program. And from speaking to the mothers, they were able to say, wow, this is just amazing. And the time that now my husband spends with the kids that he typically didn't in the past. And it also freed up time for me to do things that I typically didn't have time to do. So I guess a lot of the research that I've done is I've come out and been able to say, it's really important that dads are spending quality time with their kids. But at the same time, it's not just dads, it's families spending quality time together and using physical activity as a medium. So, and also things like sitting down and eating dinner together and going to the park together, not just turning the TV on.
So any different kinds of foods that people are now eating?
I guess the big part of the research that I was doing was looking at fathers that were typically overweight, and so a part of the focus of the cohort that I was looking at, or the group of fathers that I was looking at, was reducing the amount of energy intake. So there was an aspect of weight loss involved in that, and you can achieve that through a number of ways. I mean, there's no silver bullet, but if you improve the quality of the food that you're eating, and increase the amount of physical activity you're doing, then you're going to have a positive result. So in terms of, to get back to your question, so in terms of foods that they're now eating, feedback from the fathers, a couple of fathers said, well, actually, no, after doing the program, I didn't change what I ate, but I'm just a lot more active, but I've lost 15 kilograms, so something's working. Whereas other fathers had to take out that, okay, I'm still pretty lazy, but what I am doing is I'm really aware of what I'm eating. And as a result, my kids are aware of what I'm eating and what they're eating. And as a family, we're just eating a lot healthier.
And how about the relationship between the dads and the kids?
Well, yeah, like we were talking about before we came on air, there's certainly been feedback from participants that, yeah, they're overwhelmed at how much fun they can have with their kids. I mean, as part of the program, we do things like, sock wrestles. And so for those that aren't familiar with that, it's a form of rough and tumble play. So some people might view it as wrestling, but that's one way that fathers, not just fathers, but male figures do, and also mothers, but more so fathers, engage with their kids through sort of physical play. And they're quite surprised that's got really positive outcomes for both sons and daughters. It's not just dads and sons playing together like that.
That's great. And leading up to Christmas, are there any lessons we can take out of all of these findings?
I think there is. I think when you think about, well, be it parents or grandparents, considering, well, what presents should we buy for their grandkids or the kids? Like, there's certainly a lot of options out there, and there's a lot of exciting options for kids. They look at what's being printed in the media and on TV, and they want DVDs, they want iPads. But I would certainly, from my findings, I'd encourage fairly simple presents and presents that are going to focus on getting kids active and also parents active and grandparents active. So that can be really simple things like a bat and a ball. You don't have to go and spend great amounts of money.
Go out and enjoy it.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us this morning, Adam Lloyd, and interesting healthy dads and healthy kids.